This is the day when you hear a lot about numbers. You know, this is the 17th recruiting class, or this guy's a 205th ranked guy. What's your philosophy on recruiting numbers?
I don't look at that stuff at all. I don't pay attention to recruiting rankings at all. I don't know where Trey Norman, Al Amadou, and Zayd Lowry are ranked. I know if I was going to go do my own rankings, those guys would be ranked higher than probably what other people think they are. But that's the great thing about it. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. For us, we're not recruiting rankings. We're recruiting specific people, not just players, specific people from specific families that match our core values, that match what we're trying to do here at Marquette. They want to be a part of something larger than themselves. And we feel like we have that in these three young men. Zayd Lowry, extremely receptive to coaching, very athletic. He's a great mover. The way he glides around the floor is reminiscent of some of the other really good talented wings that have been here in the past. And he's also a phenomenal kid from a great family. Al Amadou, unbelievable potential. Smile lights up a room. He's a guy that you want to be around him. You know, he just has that it factor about him that when people meet him, they say that guy's different. And then Trey Norman is someone that is a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. Probably one of the top 3 high school games I've ever seen was last March when his school, Worcester Academy, won the NEPSAC championship. And it was the day after we played St. John's. So it felt good flying up there and watching him. And, you know, maybe at that point, knowing something that, maybe certain other schools didn't know about him. And that's how we try to go about recruiting. Obviously, everyone has their philosophy. The way we want to recruit is we want to build relationships with these guys and their families, starting as early as their sophomore or junior year and going through their senior year. And if we're fortunate to sign them in early November, that means we still have almost a full calendar year before they play a game for us. So there's an unbelievable opportunity to continue to indoctrinate them on how they will be successful at this level. But to do that, you have to have receptive kids and you have to have receptive families. And I feel like we had that with these 3 guys.
Yeah, I watched that NEPSAC championship game. Trey seemed to have a sense of the moment in the last 5 minutes, kind of barreled his way to the basket. Are those the kind of winning plays that you like about him?
Well, to start the game, we got there, they're warming up. His wrist was heavily taped, his left wrist. And you could tell he didn't want to touch anything with that hand. But he's such a warrior and he's such a winner. There was no way he was missing that game. And so early on in the game, he had some teammates that probably had the ball in their hands more than he did. But as the game wore on, adrenaline kicked in, and he made some big-time plays, big-time defensive plays, a huge shot, a huge pass to help his team win that game. And like I said, it was one of the, all around, both teams, one of the best high school games I've ever seen.
With recruiting, I mean, obviously marketing-wise for the school, it's good to get a top 5, a top 10, a top 20, whatever. But as a coach, do you look more for a top 50, a top 100, a 1 or a 2 star that you go, okay, this kid has only scratched the surface of what they can do?
We don't look for stars. I don't know how many stars Dwayne Wade had, but it wasn't enough. I don't know how many stars Jimmy Butler had. Actually, I do. I was an assistant at Clemson. I tried to recruit Jimmy Butler when he was in junior college, and he didn't have a lot of stars. And he became, over time, who he is now. And that takes time. So we look for guys that want to become, that want to turn into something bigger and stronger and better and more confident than what they are right now. And again, not everybody does it that way. We live in a world where there's going to be close to 2,000 transfers every spring. And for some people, it's, hey, take transfers, get guys that are already ready-made. For us, that just doesn't work as well because the culture of our program is a little bit different. Everyone has their own culture, but you can't just come in here and replicate what a guy like Stevie Mitchell has cultivated over the past year and a half. That takes time. So being able to go through the recruiting process with these guys, again, starting as early as their sophomore year or the summer going into their junior year, and being able to identify, hey, this is a guy that fits for us and we fit for him, and really building a relationship built around mutual trust and mutual goals.
With Al, he seems to be the new kind of big man that can, catch oops and still block shots at the rim, but he's starting to shoot it a little bit now. Is that what you liked about him?
Al can do a lot of things. But I tell you what, Cody says it all the time, Al's basketball development will be intimately tied to his personal development as a young man, the things that happen upstairs in this building, all the meetings that we have, freshman orientation, spending time together with his teammates. Al can be as good as he wants to be at this game. He's a late comer to basketball, didn't start playing until about 8th grade. And interestingly enough, I asked him, why'd you start playing the game? He said, I was watching basketball on YouTube, and one of the guys that really caught my eye was Sean Jones. So it's the first time I've ever heard of a guy that we signed deciding to play the game of basketball because of one of our current players. I thought that was pretty cool. But Al's someone that words can't really describe his personality. He's very, very unique. He's very fun to be around. If you don't like Al, something's wrong with you. He's a guy that I think fans will grow to love. But he's also, I would say, of the three, has the furthest to go with just developing his confidence in the game because he's been playing for the least amount of time.
Zaid's at La Lumiere now, and he's not playing football anymore. How do you think that's going to jumpstart his progress before he gets here?
Zaid's a guy, of the three, he's a guy we recruited the longest, and he's a guy that committed first, and he's a guy that probably had the least recruiting interest at this level compared to the other guys. But you know what? 6'4", can really move. You know, most of the best basketball players have that in common. They move differently than the rest of us. And he's really emerging as an offensive player. He's got really good feel with his passing and his ball handling. He doesn't try to do too much, which is huge. We don't want 13 guys that all need to have the ball in their hands 24/7. We want guys that can blend with other guys. We want guys that care about things like deflections and being in the gold and rebounding. And Zaid is that. He reminds me in some ways of Chase Ross with his athleticism and his versatility and his ability to blend with other guys.
Shaka, you talk about building relationships. If you're from the state, some years does it just work out state-wise or regionally as far as recruits, and other years not so much? Or how do you look at getting local kids in here?
Well, we want to bring in the best guys we can for Marquette, whether they're from Mars or from Milwaukee. That being said, it is a priority to us to do a good job recruiting locally, and not just locally in the state of Wisconsin, but Chicago's right down the block as well. But at the same time, we're not going to take a guy from one of those areas that's a lesser fit for our program than someone from Philadelphia or from Boston or Springfield, Missouri. We'll go where we need to go. And again, if you look at the history of the successful teams at Marquette, that's what those programs have done. They've gone to Chicago to get Bo. They've gone to New York to get George Thompson. They've gone to Georgia to get Jay Crowder. Wherever you need to go, we'll go. And there are good players in this state. There are good coaches in this state. And I can promise you this, there will be more guys from Wisconsin on our team in time. It's just a matter of when and who. And again, remember, it's a two-way street. So we can recruit the best player from any area, but that same player has to want to come to Marquette. And the one thing I've learned, I can promise you, over my 13 years so far as a head coach, is to a man, the guys that have great careers, you don't have to twist their arm to come play at Marquette or at VCU or wherever it is that you're coaching. They want to come there. They want to be a part of it. And so if there's a guy from down the street that wants that, and he wants to be here, and he wants to play in Fiserv Forum in front of some of the greatest fans in the country and be a part of a really exciting style of play where we care about each other and we try to go win for each other, then yeah, come on. We want you.
How about here tomorrow night? Are you pretty pumped?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It's going to be different. We've been practicing in here. We really don't practice in here very much. Usually it's in Caston downstairs. But it's been great. Just a little bit of a shift in venue, and I think the guys are excited. I'm excited for our students. I know being around the kids here at Marquette, they're always looking for different things that are exciting. and maybe a little bit unique to participate in. So we got some pretty cool events going on around the game. It sounds like it's going to be great weather, and just looking forward to being a part of it. Most importantly, our team taking a step forward from Monday night and playing better than we did, because the opponent coming in here, Central Michigan, is a dangerous team.